Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to give you 2 free Halloween promo codes that are available to all players. In addition, we're going to cover the Festival of Frights. Now, I highly recommend you stick around for this video because as you can see from the timer here, the Festival of Frights goes on for the next 3 weeks. This is a mega event. It's really the biggest event in Raid. This is bigger than any Halloween event I actually remember. And within this event, there are even more tournaments and events going on, the biggest of which is another Titan event. We had the Ultimate Death Knight Birthday Titan event, and now we have a Halloween Titan event where you can get souls for WUKONG, which is great, in addition to a lot of other rewards. You can also see up here above my head, there is a Halloween Heroes Path that is coming up. So there are a ton of things that are being packed into this event. This is bigger than a fusion event, and potentially there's a lot of value out there for players. So if you've never done one of these events, or if you just like to kind of preview the event and put together a plan on how to approach it and get the most resources out of this event as you can, you should stick around and watch this video. All right, there's a lot to cover, so let's get started. I always enjoy the Halloween event. It's really a fun time in Raid, and they are going all out this year. But I know some of you are just here for the promo codes. So I'm going to be friendly, and I'm going to give you the promo codes right here at the top of the video. But then if you could be friendly in return and do me a favor, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider joining our Discord community. That really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it. Okay, so I've already put my promo codes in today. As you can see, I can't do that again. So I'm just gonna have Sun put a little banner up here with the promo codes on them. There are 2. The first one is Spooky23. Now that promo code came out 2 days ago, so I don't know what the time limit on that one is. You may want to start with that one just to make sure that you get it. The second promo code is a little bit juicier, so if you'd rather just rush over to this one contains a 5-star chicken. And that code is Undead Treat. So again, hopefully it's floating around here somewhere. Thank you, Sun, for all your hard work. I appreciate you, man. All right, enjoy your promo code rewards. Have fun. If that's all you wanted from the video, thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hit the like button. But if the rest of you are interested in the festival, let's go check that out. Now, there's going to be a lot associated with this festival, and there are sort of 2 pages that you want to become familiar with. The first is when you go to the events icon here, this is sort of the list. This is what we're pretty much used to, the events page here. It does have this banner of Festival of Frights up top, but this is the regular events scrolling menu here. It tells us that we have 3 events, 2 are ongoing, and then we have 1 that will be starting in 16 hours and 7 minutes, and that is the Cursed Masquerade Path. So we will have a path event going on simultaneously with the Titan event. Now, the Titan event is sort of a mega event, and that's within the Festival of Frights. So let's go and check out the Halloween Titan event first. Okay, in order to collect points for the Titan event, you need to complete objectives, and the objectives are all events and tournaments. And then as you collect points, you can get your WUKONG souls here. Now, everybody's got WUKONG as a free login champion. They did this for UDK during the UDK birthday event. They also did a path, I think it was a path event for Artax souls. So this seems to be something that Plarium is doing more and more frequently. I kind of like this as a Titan event. It feels a lot like a fusion. If you've never done a fusion, going after this 4th soul here will be very similar to completing a fusion. You can also go all the way here to get a mythical skill tome and an eternal soul stone, also a legendary tome, 5-star chicken, XP barrel. So there are a lot of really good rewards all the way at the end of this Titan event. But for most of us, that's going to be tricky to get because in order to get these 1,500 points, you really have to be competing in nearly every event and tournament over the duration of this Halloween Titan event. Now, if you want some more information, just go up to the icon here and it'll actually run you through the basics of how this event works. And one of the things that we know is I think there are 1,750 points available, and you need 1,500 points for the final reward. So you can only afford to miss 250 points if you want that Eternal Soul Stone, or 300 points if you want that Mythical Tome. So you can start planning now for what feels like a reasonable goal for you. On my Lobby account, I'm going to be shooting for at least this 2-star Sun Wukong split soul. That should be easy enough to get. Remember, you're going to have to get the 1-star soul and use it, and then get the split soul and use that as well. So you don't like accidentally sell this 1-star soul. You need each soul in order to then apply the next one. Now, if you happen to already have, say, a 1-star soul, then you could just go ahead and sell that. And then when you get to the 2-star split soul, you should be fine. I think the 3-star soul is also a reasonable goal for most players, especially if you're in the mid game. 600 points is not going to be outside of the reach of most players who are actively playing and keeping an eye on trying to get these souls. This is what I did for the UDK event. I think actually for the UDK event, I think I got all 4-star souls. But that was on my main, and I have a lot of resources there. And that was not too tricky on my main, but that is an end game account. So for mid game players, even early game players, you may be able to shoot for this 3-star soul. Now, the 3-star soul is going to be really nice on Wukong because not only is it going to give you an opportunity to get a blessing, but it gives you an opportunity to get 2 batches of stats. So a 3-star soul is a really nice goal for Wukong because not only does it give you an opportunity to get a blessing, but it's going to give you the second tier of the blessings effect plus 1 batch of stats, which for Wukong would probably be attack. So we can quickly look at how that works. Okay, so here's my Sun Wukong. On my main, I have not built him yet, but I will be building him on my Lobby account. Now, if you look at the skills page at the bottom, you can click on blessings here and you can preview your blessings. Okay, so these are the blessings that are available for you. For Sun Wukong, you have several options. I think a popular option is going to be Soul Reap. So one of the things about Soul Reap is that it gives you an opportunity to kind of have a final death stroke. You know, you kill somebody, a target who's gotten to a low HP threshold. And so that's nice. And you would get the second level here with a 3-star soul, which means the threshold would be 8%. So if you got any target down to 8%, you would just go ahead and get a Reaper who would kill them off. Now, if you can get the 4-star soul, that's even better because you get an additional 25% crit damage, which means it's going to be easier to get to that 8% threshold. So Soul Reap would be a really nice option for a Sun Wukong. There are other blessings that could be really nice, a Crushing Rend or a Brimstone. There's some others. So you can consider which one you want, but I would highly recommend going for one that either contains a stat of accuracy here or crit damage, depending on what role you're using him as, right? So accuracy is very helpful if you want to use him as a debuffer and a buff stripper, and crit damage is going to be very useful if you want to use him as a nuker. If you're using him as both, just figure out which one you need more help with and go with a blessing that gives you those stats or helps you with that role. So now, if you want to get points for the Titan event, remember those happen in tournaments and events. You can come here back to the events page and scroll down, and you'll see this special banner, this pink banner with white lettering, Halloween Titan event. So any of these events or tournaments will give points for the Titan event. So in this case, we have a Dungeon Divers event. You can just click here. You can see the point totals. And then you can see here, we've got Halloween points, 40 points, 60 points. It's going to be 4,450 points in the Dungeon Divers event to get all 100. So you can decide, you know, how far you want to go into that. Obviously, if you get to 4,450, you're not that far away from an epic skill tome and an XP barrel. Now, one of the things you want to watch out for during this Halloween Titan event is that some events and tournaments maybe don't apply to the Halloween Titan event. That happened during UDK's birthday event. We saw some tournaments that didn't give points for the Titan event. Some of them were like at the very end in the last couple of days, but that is something you want to watch out for. So look for the banner. Look for the banner so that you can know for sure that you're going to get Titan event points if you go after that Dungeon Divers event or whatever else it happens to be. There will also be this Cursed Masquerade path here. It is not live. This will be popping up in 16 hours. And so that's going to have a lot of rewards as well. And that's also going to have specific event objectives here. So we may be able to double dip here a lot of times, or even triple dip, I guess. We could get event points that'll give us Cursed Masquerade path points, and that will also give us Halloween Titan event points. So potentially this could be a fairly friendly event for free-to-play players who can triple dip, quadruple dip pretty easily during these 3 weeks. Now, the other page I wanted to show you is just up here at the top. If you click on View, and you can go to the Festival of Frights page. And this just contains all of the details that Plarium wants you to know about the Festival of Frights. It's kind of cool. It has the timer for the event down here. It also has clickable icons here for each of these events. So if you're looking to go to a page for any of these, you can just click on it as long as the timer is live. So for instance, we have a themed Dungeon Divers. If I click on that, it just takes me to that Dungeon Divers event page we were just looking at. The first tournament that is ongoing right now is a Demon Spawn Turn Attack tournament for the Fire Knight. So in these kinds of tournaments, you can only use champions from specific factions. In this case, it is Demon Spawn factions. The point totals are pretty much typical of what a Fire Knight tournament would look like, but there's an extra challenge in that you can only use faction-specific champions. Sometimes they do these from like the alliances where it's, 4 particular factions, but in this case, it's just Demon Spawn. I'm going to do another quick video later today about how to build a good Fire Knight team, regardless of where you are in the game, to be able to do this tournament. Remember, you just need to collect the points, get up here to 2150. So if you're just trying to do that, if you're trying to reach that goal, that is manageable basically by everybody in the game. If you are a week into the game, you could probably do that. I'm not saying you should, but if you decide that you want to, if it makes sense for your account and you want to go after those Wukong souls, this is something that you can grind basically at account level like 20. You can probably start making progress towards that. And then obviously, if you're a mid-game player or a late-game player, it's going to be easier and you're going to be farming that more quickly. But again, I'm going to have another video that goes over teams and how to build a team for this particular Fire Knight tournament. Very quickly, this tournament, this is one of the things that I was talking about. This is a tag arena tournament. It looks like a Halloween event. It has a jack-o'-lantern there, but it doesn't have the banner for the Halloween Titan event. Now, it hasn't launched yet. It's not going to launch for 18 hours, but this feels like it will not give points towards the Halloween Titan event. Now, I could be wrong. We could see that they're just missing the banner. But if we look at the other page, we'll see that there is an event that is coming up that is announced that does have that banner on it. And that's what we were looking at before. On this page, you can see this event is the Cursed Masquerade Path. It is popping in 16 hours, and it has the banner. So if you're looking at a preview of an event or a tournament that's coming that doesn't have the banner, that's probably an indication that it's not going to give you Titan event points. And so you can choose to go after those if there are good individual rewards you want, or if you need to do that kind of activity anyway. But you may want to be more selective in which tournaments and events you pursue if you're really interested in those Wukong souls. So I'm definitely going to be pursuing some Wukong souls on both of my accounts. It's also an opportunity to just get a lot of free resources. I always enjoy these events. Even if it feels like some of the point totals are high, who cares? It's free. It's extra. The one thing I do want to remind everybody is that the UDK event basically felt like a fusion event. You put the same amount of time into the game, the same amount of resources into the events and tournaments, and the thresholds for rewards were about the same as what we would expect from a full 2-week fusion event. So this could feel like a 3-week fusion event. Maybe the reason it's a week longer is to make it a little bit easier on us and we won't have to play the game for so many hours per day. So the events may be a little bit longer in duration or a little bit more spread out in time. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that plays out over the next 3 weeks. But start planning now. Start considering what you want in terms of your goals, whether it's for Wukong souls or overall just in terms of resources. And that way you won't fall behind the pace too much at the beginning. And you can kind of judge as you go whether or not you are likely to reach your goals or whether you have to adapt and change your goals to suit your account. Okay, that is it for me today. Remember to use your promo codes. Once you use one, it's going to take 24 hours before you can use the next one. So I highly recommend doing Spooky23 first and then doing Undead Treat second. And hopefully the Undead Treat isn't just a 24-hour code because that would be awful. And you'd all be mad at me and I wouldn't like that. So yeah, just a consideration. Go ahead and get those going right now so that you hopefully can take advantage of all of them before they go away. Now, they may last for the duration of the event, so it might not be a rush, but we don't actually know, and Plarium never really tells us. All right, if you are interested in that Fire Knight tournament team, I'm going to be doing another video later today, so watch for that drop as well. Thanks for hanging out. I've been Colred, and I will see you in another video soon.